Hello everyone, this is Aditya Vikram Agarwal. So today we will be doing question number 5 of paper 1. So basically we are doing Anthropology PYQ 2024 solution. I have already made a video on question number 1. So you just go and check it out, and today we'll be doing compulsory question, that is question number 5 of paper 1. A little bit about me. My name is Aditya and I have secured AIR 9 in UPSC 2024 exam, and this year I have scored 272 marks in anthropology. So this is my way of giving back to our UPSC community to help all of you understand on how to score good marks in anthropology. So without wasting any more time, let's start with question number 5, part A, which is chronometric dating. All right. So first thing, let me just give you a small recap. If you are doing anthropology questions, you have to look at them from anthropological side rather than just looking at some, like for example the question is saying here chronometric dating. So you don't have to just say ki chronometric dating kya hai, what's chronometric dating, and what it does, but you have to see it from anthropological side perspective, that how it is helpful in finding out the age of the fossils, and finding out the age of the fossils and how it is relevant in anthropology, how it helps us understand the evolutionary pattern of human beings, how it's related to human beings basically. So the compulsory questions, question number 1 and 5, they only give a small one word kind of keyword. For example, chronometric dating, matlab they don't tell us on what they want to hear about here in chronometric dating. All right, so we have a lot of we can put a lot of dimensions here, right? So dimensions we can open up on what we can think about chronometric dating. So first thing that we have to do is definition. We will be saying that chronometric dating, it is also an absolute dating. So it refers to scientific techniques that estimate the age of archaeological materials in calendar years, right? So basically in pinpoints की absolute age क्या है, absolute age of artifacts, fossils या फिर sites की क्या है, that is what chronometric dating does. So it's a scientific technique of finding out what's the absolute age of a fossil, right? So always remember, when you are giving a definition, always include a scholar. So we have Winfried Henke. So similarly for relative dating, we have a scholar. I'm unable to remember the name, but if you have any relative dating का भी याद कर लो. So it's always good to have a scholar in the definition. Then chronometric dating में first dimension we can open up is chronometric dating के methods क्या हैं. So there are basically two types of methods chronometric dating. One is radiometric, another is non-radiometric. So radiometric dating method होते क्या हैं? They are based on radioactive decay. So we have a material जिसमें radioactive material होगा, it will be decaying. तो वो decay होगा तो it will be उसकी कुछ half life होती है, right? So half life हो जाएगी. So we could say कि इसको इतने साल हो गए, it has taken place among these many years. So for example radiometric dating के अगर example है, radiocarbon dating है, where we used carbon dating method. C14 is a radioactive material. So here again we have a scholar whose name is Willard F. Libby. So he discovered C14 atom, and C14 disintegrates into C12, right? So it can date up to 50,000 years तक we can date, since the half life is 5730 years. For example ये material था, it had C14. So after some time this material has half of C14 now left. How much time it has taken? 5730 years. Again C14 का half इतना बचा इस वाले material में. So 5730 years और लग गए. So total let's say around 11.4 के years हो गए. So अगर इतना material मिलेगा हमें C14 in a full fossil, तो we will say for 11.4 के years हो गए. So this way we are able to understand how much time it has taken place. So example we can give कि Stonehenge in England was dated using these methods, right? Okay, so second radiometric method is limitations. We can say up to only 50,000 years, but we can see that there are fossils. For example, we have hominin fossils, Australopithecus के fossils होते हैं millions and millions of years. So these we cannot date using this method. So that's a limitation. We can also only date organic substances, because organic substances only has C14. Inorganic substances में C14 नहीं होता है. Second method radiometric का है potassium argon. So what it helps is, this method is different from C14 in a way that first thing, we are seeing the radioactive decay of K40 to argon 40, right? And the half life is 1.3 billion years. So it can date materials of a very, very long term, and it is used to date volcanic rock and ash. So these are inorganic substances. ठीक है, so this thing can help. Example we can give that it was used in East African sites, for example Olduvai Gorge में, Hadar में. जो Lucy है, अब Lucy का we have to remember one thing, wherever we are mentioning the Lucy fossil, we have to mention the name of the scholar, Donald Johnson, DJ, short form में. Alright, so if you can see that we had one scholar here, right, second scholar here, right, third scholar we are mentioning here. So anthropology में, other than just giving out the points, we have to remember we have to put a lot of scholars in it. ठीक है, now we are coming to non-radiometric methods. So a little bit thing, usually we have to write, we are given two pages for a question of 10 marker. Here I have written a bit more क्योंकि थोड़ा content ज़्यादा है. You can pick and choose however you want to write. So 3 pages का I have given for this specific question. अब A.E. Douglas का dendrochronology का होता है. So it is based on wood pattern जो होता है. So let's say dendrochronology होता क्या basically. So let's say there is a tree sample है, you cut it, and then if you see from the cross section, ठीक है, so you will find these type of tree rings. So and these tree rings will be different based on the climate. So let's say one year it's raining more, so tree ring will be thicker. Then the other year it's raining less, so tree ring will be smaller. So there will be many tree rings if you see like this. And understanding the number of tree rings and their thickness and all, we can find out the exact age of this wood log, right? So it dates wood based on the pattern of tree rings. Climatic variation reflect करता है. Or bristlecone pine chronology developed by Ferguson. There are a few other scholars which you can remember. So what are the limitations for it? It can't be applied to different environments. So for example, England का temperature कुछ अलग था, right? European countries का, India का temperature would have been, a climatic pattern would have been different. So we can't really, apply the same thing from Europe to India. Dendrochronology different है because climatic patterns were different. It can be applied only the samples of same environment, right? Other limitations, alright. One more non-radiometric dating का कर लेंगे. That is thermoluminescence. Thermoluminescence dating क्या है? Fired pottery जो है वो उसको डेट करने में मदद करता है. फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव अ डिफरेंट फायर्ड पॉटरी होती है ना, हमारे पॉट्स हैं डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ फ्रॉम IVC इंडियन फेरी सिविलाइजेशन के होंगे हमारे पास, अदर ईयर्स ऑल्सो. सो द लाइट that is released during heating, it is measured and the age is determined. थोड़ा सा read about this process on YouTube. It's an interesting one on how when we are heating the a pot, for example, and it gives some emissions, and we are reading those emissions using some techniques, and that's how we are knowing the exact date of that pottery. So artifacts on IVC can be used using this dating method, right? So overall, you can write a few other limitations also for this question. For example, there are age range constraints using this method. For example, carbon 14 जो carbon dating method है, it gives around 50,000 years का होता है. Cost and technical complexity, क्योंकि we have to use some scientific process जिससे cost could be high, and also you have to have some technical knowledge to use these methods. Contamination risk. For example, let's say there is some artifact and it is buried deep in the mud. So there could be some chemicals that could contaminate and give us inaccurate results when we are reading it, right? Ab this is the thing about where it is chronometric dating, right? Chronometric dating का हो गया, ठीक है. अब one dimension I want you to write in the exams is relevance, ठीक है. So relevance in anthropology is one of the most important dimensions, and it will help you fetch good marks, and it's easy to write. So how chronometric dating methods help? It helps us establish a human evolutionary timelines on how from Australopithecus we evolved, right? Then we Australopithecus से today we are Homo sapiens. So कैसे वो evolutionary timeline बनी, that it helps. For example, hominin fossils से अफ्रीका के, ऑस्ट्रेलोपिथेकस एफरेंसिस. अब उसकी डेटिंग कैसे होगी कि एट व्हाट टाइम पीरियड इट वाज, है ना. तो लेट्स से अब उसकी डेटिंग हमने करी, वी आर एबल टू फाइंड आउट कि इरेक्टस से पहले ये वाला फॉसिल था. सो वी आर एबल टू नेम इट ऑस्ट्रेलोपिथेकस एफरेंसिस, राइट. अब क्रोनोलॉजी ऑफ कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट कैसे पता चलेगी, कल्चर कैसे डेवलप हो रहा है. सो कल्चर वे में यू आर यूजिंग सम, देर आर सम टूल्स, राइट. देर आर सम पॉटरी टाइप्स हैं, कुछ टूल्स हैं, और देर आर सम फॉसिल्स दैट यू आर फाइंडिंग. तो पैलियोलिथिक साइट में ही लेट्स से कि ये पैलियोलिथिक साइट है. सो हाउ आर वी एबल टू फाइंड आउट कि ये अपर पैलियोलिथिक का है, देन ये मिडल पैलियोलिथिक का है, देन ये लोअर पैलियोलिथिक का है. सो दीज थिंग्स कैन बी एस्टैब्लिश्ड. और कल्चर कैसे डेवलप हुआ, दीज थिंग्स कैन बी अंडरस्टूड बाय द यूज ऑफ डेटिंग मेथड्स. एनवायरमेंट रिकंस्ट्रक्शन. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल डेंड्रोक्रोनोलॉजी में बताया मैंने. सो वेन एवर द क्लाइमेट वुड बी गुड, अच्छा रहेगा फॉर ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट, दैट ईयर द ट्री रिंग वुड बी थिक. So understanding the past temperatures, past weather climatic conditions can be understood through chronometric dating. Dendrochronology basically इस वाले में, ठीक है. देन क्रॉस डिसिप्लिन इंटीग्रेशन बहुत ज़्यादा होता है ना. क्रॉस डिसिप्लिन इंटीग्रेशन में कैसे होगा, सो वी आर एक्चुअली डूइंग एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल स्टडीज़ बट वी आर यूजिंग दी मेथड्स ऑफ केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स, है ना, बायोलॉजी. सो दीज हेल्प इन क्रॉस डिसिप्लिन इंटीग्रेशन, राइट. Now we move on to part B, cultural relevance of Kula. ठीक है. So I think this is something everybody knows, first thing that you read for economic anthropology, और basically this is a concept where we understand that जो हमारी सोसाइटीज़ होती हैं, ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज़ या फिर प्रिमिटिव सोसाइटीज़, ठीक है, इनमें द कंसेप्ट ऑफ इकोनॉमी इज़ डिफरेंट. इट्स नॉट बेस्ड ऑन प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, ठीक है, बट इट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन सोशल रिलेशंस. द मेंटेनिंग ऑफ सोशल रिलेशंस इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस या फिर मार्केट का डिमांड्स एंड सप्लाई पे. सो व्हाट इज़ कुला, और इसका कल्चरल रिलेवेंस पूछा है इन लोगों ने. सो कुला एक्सचेंज सिस्टम इज़ अ सेरेमोनियल गिफ्ट एक्सचेंज, सेरेमोनियल गिफ्ट एक्सचेंज ट्रेडिशन, जिसमें ट्रोब्रियांड आइलैंडर्स ऑफ पपुआ न्यू गिनी. और स्टडी किसने किया था, ब्रोनिस्लो मलिनोव्स्की ने, और उसने कौन सी बुक में लिखा था, आर्गोनॉट्स ऑफ वेस्टर्न पैसिफिक 1922. सो ये कुछ पॉइंटर्स हैं विच गिव अ बिट ऑफ एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल डेप्थ टू योर आंसर कि ट्रोब्रिया आइलैंडर्स में था कुला रिंग, ब्रोनिस्लो मलिनोव्स्की ने स्टडी किया था, एंड आर्गोनॉट्स ऑफ वेस्टर्न पैसिफिक बुक में ही हैज़ रिटन दिस. नाउ वी गो टुवर्ड्स कल्चरल रेलिवेंस ऑफ कुला. तो कल्चर रेलिवेंस ऑफ कुला, फर्स्ट थिंग वुड बी इट इज़ एन इकोनॉमिक एक्सचेंज मॉडल वेन मटीरियल एक्सचेंज, थिंग्स ऑफ मटीरियल्स आर एक्सचेंज्ड विच आर इमेंसली सोशल एंड सिम्बॉलिक इन वैल्यू, राइट. सो क्लॉकवाइज होता था, एज यू हैव स्टडीड कि क्लॉकवाइज में थिंग्स यूज टू फ्लो, रेड शेल क्लॉकवाइज में और वाइट आर्म बैंड्स काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज फ्लो करते थे, ठीक है. और मार्शल साइलेंस, सेकंड स्कॉलर वी आर यूजिंग है, मार्शल साइलेंस क्लासिफाइड इट एज बैलेंस रेसिप्रोसिटी. सो वन पर्सन इज गिविंग वन थिंग, देन ही इज गेटिंग समथिंग ऑफ द सिमिलर वैल्यू ऑन द अदर हैंड. सो मवाली वॉज वाइट, जो इसमें आते 16 वजह से आते थे क्लॉकवाइज में, ठीक है. ये डायग्राम यहाँ बना देना और फिगर यहाँ पे ऐसे. सो दिस इज़ अ वे ऑफ मेंशनिंग द डायग्राम एंड ऑल, राइट. देन सेकंड पॉइंट रिलेवेंस, कल्चरल रिलेवेंस क्या, कुला एंड रिचुअल लाइफ. सो ट्रोब्रियन आइलैंडर्स जो थे, दे यूज टू डू सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कल्चरल, दे यूज टू डू सम सॉर्ट ऑफ रिचुअल बिकॉज द वोयाज ऑन अ शिप, ठीक है, voyage on a ship used to be a bit dangerous. So they used to do some rituals so that voyage would be safe for the people who are going on it, so that travel is safe, ठीक है. So it involves some sort of magical religious practices before traveling into the high seas. So Malinowski believed that it used to reduce fear and anxiety. Also it was a way of understanding that it would have a safe voyage, right. सो सोशल इंटीग्रेशन होता था कुला से, बेसिकली पीसफुल रिलेशंस बनते थे, अलाइंसेस बनते थे, इंटर आइलैंड कम्युनिकेशन होती थी. सो दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द कल्चरल रेलिवेंस दैट यू कैन राइट. देन कुला एंड किनशिप. सो देर इज़ अ स्कॉलर विनर who mentioned that Kula society is matrilineal, highlighting women's role in Kula exchange. Then Kula's role in maintenance of cultural hierarchy. So this scholar Maurice Godlier, so he mentioned that the chiefs of the chiefs had some items of value that used to exchange, and the other people used to exchange the items that were lower in value. So it used to show that they are dominant one, right? So then you can write a conclusion basically है ना. कंक्लूजन लिख देंगे कि हाउ कूल एक्सचेंज इज सेरेमोनियल एंड मार्शल मॉस इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट स्कॉलर दैट यू कैन रीड, और ही showed that the cool exchange is obligatory, reciprocal and binding and not merely economic. So it is a obligatory, people had obligation to perform it. It was reciprocal, people used to exchange it, balanced reciprocity, for example Marshall Salins ने जैसे बताया, and it is binding, and it is not merely economic, it is for the maintenance of social relations, maintenance of hierarchy among the people, also maintaining the alliances and reducing the conflict within the society of islands of the area of Papua New Guinea, right? Then one more perspective you can add, one more dimension is comparative perspective. So you can compare it with potlatch system among the Kwakkitul Indians that was studied by Franz Boas, right? Franz Boas ने study किया था. Or there is some reciprocal system that is going on in Gond and Baiga of India as well that you can mention as an example, right? So this is about the cool exchange and how it has some cultural relevance. So this is where you can write the part B. Now